Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Don't Tell Me How to Fan. My name is Josh Albrecht. With me is my good friend John Taylor. John, 2-0. The Packers are rocking and rolling right now, and they
Oh
look
yeah.
they look just nasty. Like I don't, look, I'm not trying to tell anyone how to fan, but I usually try to be cautious at this stage of the game, but it is difficult to do so because this team is very exciting to watch play football. And if you are not a Packer fan, you are not looking forward to facing the Green Bay Packers right now. They beat the Washington Commanders, who came in 1-0, as did the Packers. They beat them 27-18 at Lambeau, and it really didn't even seem that close.
No. I would say, both Lions and Commanders games. I mean, the Packers put 27 up in both. Pretty similar scores, all things considered. I would say the Lions game felt closer than the score would indicate, and this game was nowhere close. I think there was like maybe one drive where it was 17-10, like right at the start of the third, where maybe it was feeling a little uncomfortable. And then they came right back, with that pretty fast drive. That's where Tucker Kraft got his touchdown. And they kind of just slammed the door on him right away. So I think it was a perfect game. Like you said, 27-18. I think like ultimately the overview, if we want to go like full macro before we start diving in, is like another really great game where you're going up against, I mean, these were two tough tests for the Packers in short order. And I know that we were lucky enough to have them at home, but the Lions are no slouches, demonstrated by the score of the game today, which we'll touch later. Obviously, I might as well just say it. The Lions beat the brakes off the Bears. And then, going against the Commanders, a team that made it to the NFC Championship. You're talking about two teams who are legit NFC contenders that the Packers stifled, smothered, and those teams squandered, if I can get the other S in there, their opportunity to win those games. And kind of early, it didn't look particularly close. So the best part about this game, I would say, first and foremost, is it's a coach's, wet dream. Sorry for all the young members there, but it's just a game where they won handedly, and there's still plenty to improve, plenty of growing together. And as we keep diving into particulars, but man, what a fun time to be a Packers fan. You talk about like, and at some point we'll stop talking about Micah Parsons. Maybe in like, I don't know. I was gonna say like 2027. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't plan on it. I hope not.
But he's like bringing the type of energy that I feel like it's even like translating to the offense. I have no way to prove it other than the fact the guys know
vibes, man.
Vibes. Culturally, watching the team go all in and make a move like this, when you have mentioned it every single trade deadline we talk about, where what is that expression? Always at the ball but never invited, or some sort of ball.
Always in on the conversation. The Packers are always in on the conversation.
So that was great. So I mean, the vibes are immaculate. I'm feeling so good. If we're just going off vibes alone, I think Keyshawn Nixon. Did you see that quote? At the locker, he was like, "Hey, so what do you feel like there's been a change in energy?" And he's like, "Yeah, Michael Parsons," and that's just like the clip. It's like it's so obvious.
Did you see Micah Parsons after the game?
Yeah, he's pissed off.
Yeah, that line exactly. He's talking to the I don't know, the post game prime crew,
the beat reporters. Oh no, this was in the locker room afterwards.
What I'm saying, like he said it on. Like, on set with all of them. Yeah. And he was asked about it, and he said, I'm pissed off. Yeah. And I was kind of like, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the 2021 Bucks and how we needed that dog. We needed like that, just kind of that factor. Not that we didn't have a bad team or didn't have a good team. We had a good team, but we just needed that grit, a little bit something. And Micah Parsons is that plus 1,000, right? Because he's also super talented. But that, I feel like the fact that the rest of the team knows he's an impact player, plus the energy and the vibe that he's bringing, truly is just changing the mindset of everyone on this team to, hey, like if we just go out and do this every day, why can't we be the best too? We are the best. We are the best team right now. And we're going to continue to prove it. And that little confidence boost can go a long way. I mean, you brought up a little bit here, but like before the season started, looking at the rest of the NFC North, this was going to be the most difficult, division in football, especially coming off of last year. It was not going to be a walk in the park for the Packers to get there. A lot of people predicting like maybe the Packers don't even win the division, but they might still get a wild card. They'll make the postseason, the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. None of that in 2 weeks has been the case. I'm not saying it's because they traded for Micah Parsons, but the energy behind bringing in Micah Parsons was proven. It's been proven after two. Yeah. It wasn't just, okay, this is the first game excitement to have a new guy, like the first day of school. No, this is now, the second week of school when now you're getting tests and the saying hi to friends you haven't seen since last year, all that's over. And they're still coming out and putting on this style of football, which is so much fun to watch. It's killer. This has been awesome. And it's not just Parsons.
No, it's not. I've been saying that to a lot of people, basically anybody who would listen. I think like Goody drafts, I think there is a world where we go into this season with the same results, being 2-0 with Kenny Clark as our nose tackle, with Rashawn Gary and LVN, and maybe they're getting pressure, maybe they're not. And I think that's still the case. Like, I think like the reason why this trade is so exciting and why it was so heralded nationally, when normally I feel like a Wisconsin sports team would get buried for like a desperation move, is that everybody understood that on paper, this Packers team was really, really incredible top to bottom. And the only place you could really point like, hey, maybe there's some stuff they need to work on would be like in the secondary. And I want to take a quick detour to my point to say Keyshawn Nixon maybe played the best game of football he's ever played, especially in the professional setting. And he was a multiple All-Pro for kick returning. But do you know how many pass breakups he had in all of last year? Have you heard or seen the stat?
No, I haven't seen the stat. Drop a stat on me.
It was 7 pass breakups all season. Do you know how many pass breakups he had against the Commanders on Thursday?
I don't.
5. So, and obviously he was playing in the slot. It's pretty different on the boundary. Balls are going to get thrown your way. But I just wanted to take that detour to say that Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon and Nate Hobbs, I think they're a serviceable secondary. But when you look at our roster as in general, people had us competing, taking a step forward with Jordan Love's health, seeing LVN, a top 15 draft pick, breaking out in training camp, us getting excited about some exciting young depth pieces on the line as we like watch TJ Slayton leave, which happened. There's a bunch of things to be excited about. And when you already have a team that's really excited, you just add the like best tasting cherry on top of the sundae. It's like, of course, everyone's going to talk about Micah Parsons, because what Micah Parsons does is it just makes everything flow that much more smoothly,
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not really saying another point other than the fact that I just want to like say that this roster was good to great before, and now it's like for sure great. So when people say like, how can the Packers add one player and all of a sudden they're NFC contenders? It's like, give me a break. They were already contending.
Yeah.
You could say maybe they weren't where the Lions of last year were, and you could say they weren't where the Eagles of last year were. But here's what I'll counter you to that too. The Eagles aren't where the Eagles of last year were. They lost a lot of defensive pieces. The Lions aren't where the Lions were of last year because they lost their coordinators, and that has a rippling effect. But this game was incredible. Like I said, defensively, I mean, smothering Jane Daniels. Jane Daniels scrambled for 17 yards.
Yep.
It's the lowest total he's had as a professional, and it's like the lowest amount of yards scrambled for.
He was also their leading rusher.
Yeah,
by the way.
And so the Packers have played 2 games where the rushing totals have not broken 100 yards. They have yet to break 100 yards.
Yeah.
They will next week against the Browns if they make a 5-yard. It's like really close, right? It was like 48 and 47. But we're saying over the course of 2 games, teams have not.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. And that's a testament to Jeff Hafley. He's going to be a head coach next year somewhere. So we got to cherish these. We got to hope that whatever he installs and instills persists after he goes. But I get, this is so, listen, there's so many things where men get made fun of for obsessing about sports, right? Like they're like, dudes will just literally sit around and name old players. Mine's always William Henderson or Santana Dotson.
Nice.
Or like dudes would rather watch Red Zone than go to therapy. I shouldn't have as many feelings and goosebumps as I do hearing Jeff Hafley talk about football. Like all of his like press conference and media availability gets me so unreasonably hyped and affected. And it's what a time to be alive. But he is so good. He's got everybody playing really great. I had real concerns about Campanile going down to Jacksonville, taking that defensive coordinator job. And then we're losing guys. The line last year looked really bad. And then obviously, I forget, RC. Is it Robert Covington? I think is the new line coach.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, he's there and doing great. I mean, Devontae Wyatt looks incredible. Colby Wooden stepping up, Carl Brooks stepping up, and we still haven't even really gotten a chance to see any of the younger talent that we brought in. Colin Oliver is injured. We're still waiting. And who knows? I mean, Colin Oliver might not sniff the field in a year or two, just given the way the depth of the edge room is right now. But there's more things to be excited about as they continue to working forward. And I think that's the thing that has me so excited. Like the offense is still figuring out its rhythm. Like if you want to look at one thing that the Packers have failed to do in the first 2 games of this season would be to really effectively establish the run. So much of what Matt LaFleur wants to do is based off of sequencing, right? And if people, new listeners or people never heard of us talking about sequencing, is calling a play right now, even though we know it might not work. So that way, when we give a similar look later, we can add a wrinkle, add an element, add a motion, add a sweep, do something different. So that way you're basically like subliminally making the enemy opposing team think something else is going to happen. So you do an inside zone run with a bunch of eye candy and they did a run last time. Now you add a wrinkle where maybe it's like an RPO, kind of like we saw the Romeo Dobbs touchdown, right? Maybe they add a wrinkle where it's a rub and now we're getting Tucker Kraft up in the seam. So much of what makes Matt LaFleur an incredible play caller is not only just play design, but what builds off of that, right? You're not just on Madden doing whatever the Madden AI says you should pick, or just going through and finding 4 verticals to just launch the ball down the field. I'm clearly a professional Madden player.
Yeah,
but you get my point, right? Like there's a rhyme and a reason to this. That's why these coaches don't sleep during the NFL season. But they haven't really been able to get the run game going, and that's a problem. And I think Josh Jacobs has been getting his. He still ended with like,
I was gonna say he had 84 yards in a ton.
But in 23 carries, you know what I mean? Like
sure.
He had to fight for every single yard. And a lot of what opened up their run game, which caused the Commanders to actually get back in the box a bit, was the 2 end and arounds to Savion Williams and Matthew Golden. And I love that. Mm-hmm. That's another thing we should talk about. It's like we thought, Jaden Reed gets all of the like line of scrimmage candy. And I think like it's awesome to know that they're trying to manufacture touches to their athletes. They don't care who it is. It's not a Jaden Reed exclusive. And I think if we're being honest, my guess is that LaFleur went to Goody and was like, I don't need one guy doing this. I want everybody to be able to do this, because I want, they prioritize, height, weight, and speed and agility so much, right? Like the Packers do not draft, like they can claim they don't know what RAS is, and maybe they're using different metrics, but for us, the layman, like the relative athletic score is how we judge combine people. They do not take freak athletes. They are much more interested in a raw Savion Williams, Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, people who test athletically off the charts, and they say, we can give you the technique, as opposed to the inverse, which is slow, small, right. Disciplined players. They can get that installed. And I guess my long story short is like, it's awesome watching this team continually to just impose their will when they want to or need to. And I think both games were guilty of them kind of taking their foot off the gas in the third.
Yes.
But to their point and to their credit is, at some point you want to eat the clock. Like the Packers can't keep marching down the field in like 5 plays and expecting the defense to play what it is. At some point, it's an opportunity. It bites at the apple, in the words of our buddy, Mark Antanasio.
Yes.
It bites at the apple. But in football, it truly is it's chances. If you give a team enough chances, they're going to score. So at some point, you need to limit their chances by lengthening your drives. The fact that the Packers went 2 series of 90 plus yards.
Yes.
7 plays, 96 yards, 10 plays, 92 yards, all in the first half. Absolutely incredible work. I mean, you want to talk about just doing whatever you want. I'm kind of giving you a huge stream of conscious, and it's been long enough that I hope everybody can kind of appreciate what we're talking about. But I will just say there's plenty of things to work on, and there's plenty of things to be excited about. And I'm just like in a really positive spot.
Yeah, it's a good play. It's hard not to be.
Yeah.
It's hard not to be with this team and where they are right now. A few things when you were going there that I was thinking about. First, I know this was a little while back, but when you were talking about, it's not just one player, and you were talking about with Micah, which, by the way, I decided it's Micah. It's Micah or Micah Parsons. It's not Parsons.
Yeah.
So that was taken care of. But it's a domino effect, right? And so, it's you said the secondary is serviceable, right? They're good. They might not be great, but they're good. They look great when they don't have to battle as long because the pressure on the quarterback is they got 2 seconds and they're scrambling, right? And then when the offense is seeing that against a good team like the Commanders, the defense is only allowing 3 points through 3 quarters. Well, they're going to feel a lot damn better and confident about their ability to go out and do their job because they know the defense is going to be able to take care of business. So it's a domino effect. It literally one player, when they're that type of player, can truly make an impact on the entire team. Not necessarily every game, but on the entire team and the way the team looks at the game.
Yeah.
I personally love what I saw from Jacobs in this game. Look, not every game is going to be a huge opportunity for runs. Jacobs isn't usually a person that has like 150 yards in a breakout, like a lot of breakout runs. He works for it. He works for those, and he had to in this game. He still got 84 yards in a tutty. Like, I was very satisfied and happy with Josh Jacobs' performance. I still love that he's on this team, and I love what he's doing. Jordan Love just keeps doing Jordan Love things. I haven't seen anything from Jordan Love so far this season that has me going like, God damn, he is on it. But like, that's post Hall of Fame quarterback syndrome. Like, we were used to seeing highlights from the quarterback in every ESPN top 10 after the game. And that might not be the case with Jordan Love. And that's absolutely fine because I don't need him to be. We just need to have a good quarterback that can help win games. And I'm not saying that Jordan Love's not better than that. I'm just saying through the first 2 games, that's what I would grade him as. And I felt like I'm very satisfied with that. I'm not upset with that in any way. I do love the fact that this team also is finding ways to keep highlighting other players on offense to have the big days to score and highlight. I mean, who the hell said, you know what, Tucker Kraft's going to be the man this game? Like, maybe you thought Tucker Kraft has a touchdown. Maybe you put that on your parlay. Sure. But you didn't have him going 6 for 124 with a tutty. Like, huge. He kept getting open. He kept trucking people. Yep. Speaking of trucking, Jordan Love had that one.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was sexy. But like, yeah. These guys are doing it. I really appreciate the play and the hustle. 2 games in, this team is freaking determined.
Yeah.
2 games in, and you can already tell, and it's really, really getting me jacked. And yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm really, really excited with where this team is right now mentally, and the play they're making. I do have a few negatives, a few cons that I want to get to, but
yeah. Before you pivot out of that, I just want to say, Tucker Kraft. You talk about the 124 in 6 with 1 touchdown. He's the next guy. He is the next big tight end in the league. You're talking about George Kittle. I think Brock Bowers. Don't get me wrong, but he is approaching elite level, especially in the NFC. Like, this is something that we kind of knew all the way, but for him to be as big as he is and run routes as cleanly as he does, and to also have him be such a force blocking. George Kittle is on the smaller side for tight ends. He's a good route runner. He can block. He can do a lot of things well. But Tucker Kraft offers such a awfully challenging thing to have to account for when you're playing the Green Bay Packers in such an awesome way. Like, you can't really put a linebacker on him because he's too fast, and you can't really put a safety on him because he's too big. And you're kind of going to have to live with both. And it's going to get to a point where they're going to have to account for him the same way teams have to know where Kittle is at all time, where they're going to have to know where, like, Travis Kelce was back in the day. I just think like he opens up the offense so much, not only as an incredible security blanket for Jordan Love, but for how much the other teams are going to have to devote resources to make sure that our tight end is not leaking in the seams like he did in each of the last 2 games, right? He is just like, he's arrived, he's incredible. And this doesn't feel like, hey, this was the Tucker Kraft game. This is the first of many big Tucker Kraft games, and he's had a few before, but I just mean like Thursday Night Football, all eyes are on him. Tucker Kraft showed everybody exactly what he was about, which is just like mauling monster football. They what's that quote? There's a quote where he used to tell people when he was playing football that he would just imagine burning down all of their childhood homes. Like, he is an absolute menace, and that is the kind of energy that I'm pretty sure like Micah Parsons said in an interview a couple years ago when he was a Cowboy, that he's just like, I'm a hunter, I'm not prey, I'm looking to kill everyone on the field. There's just like D-end and tight ends, I need to be complete and utter psychopaths. And boy, howdy, does Tucker Kraft seem to be right where he needs to be in terms of that psychopath meter. Yeah. But to your point too, I will say about Jordan Love specifically, the biggest thing I think about when I think about Jordan Love is he is more Brett Favre than he is Aaron Rodgers, meaning he is more than willing to chuck the ball downfield. And the fact that he has not had any throws where I've really been like, you should not be throwing in triple coverage, even if you can get the ball there, right? Like that interception that Branch had last week, we talked about it last week too. Flag was clear as day. He would not have put that ball there if he didn't think there wasn't going to be a DPI, right? And so you live with the fact that he threw the ball out of bounds way more this time. He scrambled. He did get sacked a couple times, which obviously is something he's been elite at avoiding sacks, and I continue to think that will be something he continues to excel at. But he's kind of showing you flashes of both Rodgers and Favre. But the thing is, Rodgers had elite consistency, and I don't think Jordan Love is ever going to get there. But I think this league really values and cherishes guys who can push the ball downfield, especially when you talk about explosives. And going into at the end of the first half, he had an average depth of target, the A dot, was over 14 yards, which is just like laughably absurd. Like they're not dinking and dunking down the field. They're not. They want to run the ball a couple yards, and then they want to take 20-yard shots because they know that they can get their guys open. And that's, kind of the confluence of everything we've talked about. Yeah. Athletes, play calling, ability. I will say this too. It's like, it's not going to, Jordan Love overthrew Matthew Golden. Jordan Love overthrew a guy streaking who was going. I'm thinking of the first one because the end zone kind of put a lid on it, right? I just mean like Jordan Love saw Golden streaking and he overthrew him. It's like not a lot of guys are going to overthrow anybody who runs 4.29 speed, and it's only a matter of time before those hit. And I think it's not going to be long. And we haven't even talked about the fact Christian Watson got extended, which I love the move. I think it's incredible. If you can get him back healthy and another full year, you just talk about another guy that's going to go alongside Matthew Golden. Like they just become so scary and so multiple. And it's like you paid Christian Watson Diami Brown money. You're talking about like, it's just like it's a good investment. It's like, come back, produce, and then either we can figure it out or somebody else is going to pay you. But to just lose Christian Watson right now seems so unnecessary. Yeah. It seems so unnecessary, especially when you look at that contract. So
yeah, I literally spent 2 seconds with that news. I went, "Oh, okay, cool," and then went right back to because I'm just so focused on where this team is and excited about it that I wasn't even batting an eye. But okay, so a few things.
Yeah, let's hear them.
I know. Sorry. I have to do it. First of all, this game, I don't know exactly how many penalties there were. I can tell you. 10, didn't like that. Didn't like 10 penalties. I get that, let me put it this way. I was expecting more of that against Detroit, right? It's the first game. I remember last year in Brazil, that was like part of it was, they were rusty. And then I said like, all right, well, by game 2, right, you shake that stuff off. All right, you got the first game out of the way. Didn't like the 10 penalties there. Penalties, seriously, I mean, there were drives. There were drives where it was 2nd and 20, 25, and then a lot. It's hard. It's hard for any team to come back when you're that far back. So I want, obviously work on that. And then the big thing is injuries. So this team is killing it, right? They're doing amazing. A handful of injuries can change an entire season for any team. And I know you can never play based on that, but I think that I always have that in the back of my mind, because it was game 2. Jaden Reed goes down. You're going, okay. Luckily, it's in a position where we have a lot of weapons that can take his place. Luckily, it was it's not season ending. It's a collarbone, so he's going to be out for a couple months. But it was a wake up call to me of just be cautious of the stars that we have right now. It's not going to be the same with the second and third. I'm not saying they can't produce, but the feelings we all have about this Packers team right now are based on the starters of this team. And so that kind of made me take a step back.
Yeah, obviously Jaden Reed confirmed broken collarbone. He's already had surgery for it. He's going to be back. They said what, 4 to 6 weeks? Is that the timeline? I think.
I thought it was 6 to 8 was what
It could be. Yeah, it could be. I can look real quick. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, but you also talk about the fact that like through a freak play, Zach Tom, I was hoping he'd be back, torn oblique muscle. So he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. They're hoping he's going to be back for the Browns, but probably not. And now you're looking at, Anthony Belton or Kennard, right? Is it Darius Kennard? I kept calling him Kincaid, and I was like, that is not his name.
Nope. That's a tight end for the Bills. Dalton.
Yeah. It's Darian Kennard. Anyways, I'll learn it eventually. But, we talk about like Goody and how unsexy all these draft picks are and everything like that. And, how we are tired of them. Jordan Montgomery might be a better guard than Aaron Banks. We paid Aaron Banks a ton of money because we needed to get somebody in who could cover. Sheldon Jakes could move to center. But you talk about the depth that our offensive line has, that we lost Zach Tom and Aaron Banks in the same week. And we were able to trot out Jordan Montgomery. He's a Brewer. Jordan Morgan. And I'm so tired.
I didn't even catch it.
Morgan and Anthony Belton.
Yeah.
Two guys who were taken in the first 2 rounds of each of the last 2 years. Without missing a beat. And then also just kind of like subbing in Kennard, somebody they picked up like 2 weeks before, just kind of seeing skills and tools. Belton and Kennard could be better. It'll be tough to see what they do against Myles Garrett next week. Obviously, they're going to have to do a lot of chips. They're going to have to send a lot of help that way. But guess what? Myles Garrett was getting that either way. So you hope that. But what a testament to our drafting is that we lost 2 of our starting linemen and we slot in 2 guys and then just just casually throwing in a third tackle for good measure just to get reps and see what's going on. I will say my thing that I didn't love is the run blocking has not been where it needs to be. They need to start improving the interior guys. Yeah. And I know like not having Aaron Banks is going to hurt that. I know that like Tom is a stalwart defender on the outside. So it's like it makes sweeps and stuff like that. But pass protection is phenomenal. Looks phenomenal. Has been phenomenal. Run blocking has left something to be desired. And that's something this line needs to figure out. I think it will sort itself out. I mean, I'm hoping Aaron Banks is back. All of a sudden now that depth gets revamped and rebolstered. And now you can kind of move some more pieces around. But what a testament to just the way we draft, even when it's not the sexy pick. People wanted to just get, a cornerback or a wide receiver. The year we got Jordan Morgan, and it's just kind of like the kid's got it. He's gonna be starting for us soon. At some point. I don't know where, and what's awesome is we don't know where. That's a positive, Yeah. So some of these negatives are future. They're thorns now, but they're going to be roses later. And so some of these things can kind of start turning into rosebuds and things I'm looking forward to. But I do agree. The injuries are a problem. Hopefully our guys come back. I don't love Jaden Reed being out simply for the fact that I think Jaden Reed is more talented than our gadget slot guy. And I'm excited that we have other gadget slot guys on the roster, but ultimately like he's very talented. But if guys like Romeo Dobbs are going to just keep playing, take advantage, boundary and looking great, and then Dontavian Wicks is going to actually start doing the Devontae Adams ascension of like just catching everything in year 3, then the Packers are going to be in great shape. And that's not going to be an issue. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we talk about this all the time. Like the NFL, you need depth at your skill positions, at your most important positions, because injuries happen. Thursday Night Football, as fun as it is, especially having a short turnaround in 2 weeks, you want to talk about like conditioning. It's like every Thursday Night Football seems to be a bloodbath. I mean, look at the Commanders. They lost. I forget, Wise Jr., Dietrich Wise Jr.
He's
somebody on the defense line got out early, and that obviously stunted their ability to get pressure because
they had a few guys.
Elton Jenkins pitched a perfect game, and then Austin Eckler tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
Either way, huge. He's out for the rest of the year. They were talking about Bill, the guy that seventh round rookie, and good for them. I'm glad they're excited for him. He had a hell of a debut game against the Giants. Packers made him look very pedestrian. I'm trying to think. There's rushing. Oh yeah, Austin Eckler led the Commanders with 17 yards and 8 carries.
Well, he tied Daniels, and I think they had 3 people that had 17 yards of rushing in that game. Yeah. I mean, it was it was impressive by this defense, which continues to be impressive. So, okay, anything else you want to say about this game before we move on to next week, and also quick look at the division?
Yeah, one last thing I just want to say. Okay. The last thing you were talking about, the secondary. I mean, the secondary is going to look incredible if the quarterbacks have to get the ball out in under 3 seconds.
100%.
You want to talk about like why the secondary looked so good that game was because they were able to just like squat on every single route because of the fact that they just don't have any time to throw. There was a lot of plays where you're talking about five-step drop, 7-step drop to try to get plays developed, and McDaniels was having to get the ball out in under 3 steps, which just timing gets out. It gets distracting. And then the same thing, we just keep talking about it. Like our linebackers are freaks. Their ability to close. Edrin Cooper it's like he's another guy. He's like, you want to talk about like Fred Warner level, like elite guys at their positions. Like Edrin Cooper in the next 2 years is going to be considered one of the best linebackers in the NFL, if not the best, because I will knock, but that feels almost guaranteed the way he plays. It's like all he needed to do is figure out what to do, and Halfley has made that so easy. I mean, you look at his 10 solo tackles, just freak of nature stuff. Yeah. And they got after Jaden Daniels. I keep calling him McDaniels.
You did it the first time, and I just laughed.
You should have corrected me. Please correct me. Just correct me, because I got too many names swirling around, too many thoughts. Either way, it was 10 tackles, 7 solo. Just absurd. Their ability to get after everybody, run him down, and just really that was the worst game he's played as a pro. And I think that is way more a testament to the Packers than the Commanders being bad. And I think that's the last thing I want to say about this game is I've been reading as much national coverage, watching as much national coverage I can to see how these people are talking about the Packers. And the biggest takeaway that I've been seeing, and this is going to be a fantastic transition to what we're about to talk about, but everyone kept saying, this is not the Commanders are bad. This is just showing how scary the Packers are. And I think like it was just another great example of like Jaden Daniels didn't have a bad game because he's not a great quarterback. Jaden Daniels had a bad game because he's going to be in hell playing the Packers, just like every other quarterback and running back is going to be,
which is
awesome.
which is a great transition to the rest of the NFC North, because as we saw, obviously the Packers get their win out of the way on Thursday. The rest of the team's going at it on Sunday, and the Lions and the Bears face each other. Obviously expected the Lions to win. Did not expect the Lions to crush the Bears like they did. What was it, 52 to
21?
21?
Yeah.
I mean, just disgusting. And then you look at that same Detroit team that came and played the Packers, right? And so I'm not saying – I never thought the Lions are a bad team. The Lions have lost it. The Lions are still – they're still a good team. But it's just way more difficult to play that style and put up those points and play that game against the Packers. And that's the big takeaway. So the Lions moved to 1-1, and then you had the Vikings on Sunday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons tonight. And Atlanta ends up crushing the Vikings. The Vikings just looked awful.
Yeah.
They looked really, really bad. And the Vikings are something to watch, because the Vikings almost lost to the Bears in week 1, who just gave up 52 points to the Lions. They end up coming back, but then tonight, I mean, they had nothing. McCarthy looked awful. The Vikings were, and so you look at these teams and kind of how they've come out the gate, and then in comparison to the Packers, right? I understand it's 2 weeks. There's a whole lot of ball game left, as Aaron Nagler would say, but there's a reason to be excited if you're a Packer fan. Looking at the rest of the division, it does not seem, knock on all the wood, like it's going to be the competition that it was last year in this division. No. It's not. Unless these other teams really figure it out, it's going to be the Lions and the Packers. Yeah. Those are going to be the two teams, and I don't know that it's going to be neck and neck. I would expect at the end of the season that both of those teams are in the playoffs, but that will be it. It will be the Packers and the Lions. I would be very surprised if the Vikings make it. They just look like trash.
Yeah, the Vikings are bad. I mean, you talk about their line gave up 6 sacks to the Falcons. Who plays on the defensive line for the Falcons that you think would be otherworld game breakers? Dorless? Harrison? Stop me if you really know these guys. Jalen Walker?
I don't know.
Ruke Ororo? I mean, I actually do know him. James Pierce Jr. I mean, these are guys who've been drafted each of the last 2 years. They were edge rushers I wanted the Packers to take. But you talk about, like, it's not like they don't have a Micah Parsons. Hell, they don't even have a Rashawn Gary on their team. Correct. No knock to Rashawn Gary, but I just mean, like, there's nobody on their team that's in the conversation about, like, game wreckers. Somebody you have to circle. They sacked J.J. McCarthy 6 times, 2 interceptions. J.J. McCarthy was seeing goes, your reigning NFC player of the week, offensive player of the week, J.J. McCarthy, has so far played one clean game, one clean quarter of football. It's bad. I think the Vikings, listen, do I think J.J. McCarthy is going to play this bad all the time? No. But I don't think there's been an honest enough conversation about how much Sam Darnold really buoyed the rest of this team and how much that talent really took away from it. Because Aaron Jones, you'd assume Aaron Jones would do something. Nope. He ran for 5 carries, 23 yards. Jordan Mason, 9 carries, 30 yards. J.J. McCarthy ran for more than. So they just could not. Their offensive line is suspect at best. Their defense, I mean, they had, like, Van Ginkel got scratched. There was a couple other guys. So, you can blame it on injuries, but it's not a good sign that the Falcons are not ready to compete for a playoff position yet. It is not a great sign that even with these scratches, you got embarrassed the way you got embarrassed. It's not a great sign if you're a Chicago Bears fan and you watch the Lions struggle to do anything against this Packers defense, and they did everything, and I mean everything they wanted to against you. And you can, is there a conversation about, like, did Ben Johnson maybe get too cute? Did the Lions want it more because Ben Johnson left, because the Lions got embarrassed last week? Blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, Poles needs to get re-signed because he's a terrible GM. It's hilarious. Their defense, their secondary is bad. It's really bad. The frequency and the different ways the Lions wide receivers just blew past their cover 2. They like man too, so they just were getting outworked. Fact of the matter is, that defense isn't doing anyone any favors. So the fact that people just automatically assume because they got Ben Johnson, the offensive whiz kid, Caleb Williams on paper should be better than he is right now. And you talk about the fact that they changed schemes, like, his development is going to be stifled from it. But the fact of the matter is that defense is terrible. And no amount of offensive line is going to save you from having 52 hung on your head. And I think if Sam Darnold was still on the Vikings, there's a good chance they lose by 3 touchdowns last week too. Right? Like, this defense is suspect. It's bad. And Caleb Williams, at least right now, is not a good enough quarterback to get in any sort of gunslinging duel with any other quarterback in the NFL. So
no, he's being exposed as well. I want to just point out, so looking into this week, the Lions, who are really the only team I'm watching right now outside of the Packers for just NFC North, they go to Baltimore. So that's a tough matchup. We'll see. I'd like to see them, try to put up 52 against the Rape. Like, no, welcome back to reality in that game. And then, so, that's something to look at. And then we have the Packers against the Browns this week. So let's quickly get just a score prediction here as we go into that week, and then we got to move on. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go? I got my prediction.
Go ahead. I think I went first last week, so go for it.
Well, based on the Packers score in the last 2 games, I'm absolutely going to say Packers 27. And I'm going to say that the Browns put up 17.
Okay. Any reasons why? Any thoughts?
27 for the Packers because that's what they like to score.
Yeah.
And 17 for the Browns because I don't think they're like gonna just be garbage on offense, but I also don't think they're gonna be fantastic. It's like right around where they've averaged.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think they're gonna be held to nothing. I think that if anything, we've seen LaFleur in that third quarter kind of let up a little bit, and that could lead to maybe a touchdown where they weren't, really focused and locked in, and then maybe some garbage points at the end. So I see it as 27-17.
Yeah. They lost today against the Ravens, 41-17. And it really it took like a little bit, but really it wasn't anywhere close. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I wrote down, as you were telling me your score 27-17, I wrote down my score. I think I'm gonna keep my score, but I actually don't think they're gonna put up this many points. I have it going 34-24. I think defensively, I think the Packers are actually gonna turn in one of these field goals into another touchdown, which would up the score by 10. I think this is, and I think like maybe because they're on the road, maybe the Browns do a thing where Joe Flacco can get them to march down the field once, maybe twice early. But I said that before I realized that their quarterback was still Joe Flacco in 2025, that they somehow went back to Flacco.
Yeah.
He's great. I think he's a fantastic quarterback. I've always liked Joe Flacco. I would be concerned if I was a Browns fan, knowing what the Packers defensive front is capable of going against a 40-ish-year-old man.
Right.
Non-mobile quarterback. Right. Like that's the thing that I think
that's the difference.
That's going to be the biggest difference. Yeah. I mean, Micah Parsons' last game against Jaden Daniels had like 8 pressures. It was like, the Next Gen Stats had the stats. I kind of want to find it again, just because it was so absurd. And I'm sorry for bringing it back, but out of all of his plays, he had a 21.6% pressure rate. So they were limiting his snaps, and 1 every 5 plays he was getting after him on 37 pass rush plays. Just absolutely absurd. And I just don't think the Browns are equipped to deal with them. Period. I mean, they had Laramie Tunsil and Penei Sewell. We're talking about 2 of the better tackles, and I think like Tunsil's on his way out. I think Penei Sewell, can get exposed by elite edge rushers who can't. But who on the Browns is going to stop Gary Parsons, as I like to call him?
Yeah.
First name Gary, last name's Parsons.
It's good.
So 34-24 is me just saying the Packers are going on the road. And so maybe the defense doesn't play as well in enemy territory. But I still think the Packers I think the Packers are underachieving at 27. They're leaving meat on the bone, and I think we both agree that. So I think this is the game officially where, I don't know, maybe they put up 4 touchdowns, it's 28-14, and then they go from there. 2 field goals just to run it out, or blah 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 blah. But yeah, this team's got me so excited. I could talk about the Packers for another 3 hours. And let's do it. And let's keep doing that. So, anyways, I was also thinking.
No, wait, hold on. We have news to celebrate. And we have to celebrate it.
Colby Wooden is playing. Yeah.
No. The Milwaukee Brewers are postseason bound.
That's right. They clinched.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they clinched yesterday before that game against the Cardinals. And boy, did it look like they did not want to celebrate with a win.
But they did.
Let's
talk quickly about the Brewers here. First of all, awesome. Like, we cannot take that for granted. As Brewers fans, we have gone so it was the amount of people, and you and I are not, I would not consider old in terms of sports fans, but there are so many people that don't realize that this is not a normal thing for this team. We went a long time without being able to, celebrate making it into the postseason. Hell, when I was a kid, we celebrated them going 500. I mean, the whole stadium, County Stadium, had a whole freaking party when they went 500 because that was such a big deal to this team. And now 7 of 8 of the last years, Brewers find their way into the postseason. They're not done yet. Ha ha ha. But they got to find that switch. They got to find that switch. And I know that they're still battling some stuff and they're trying to figure some things out. But man, when we talked a month ago, 2 months ago, about this team and how they were doing, where they were, everything else, and I said, you got to be hot at the right time. Man, I still hope they can really be like this mid-September, going into October, right? Because literally 2 weeks, that's the crazy thing about baseball, John. You play 162 games, and 2 weeks of baseball can completely flip the way that a fan will look at this team. It's insane. The way that we talked in April, in comparison to the way we talked in August, you would have thought it was about two different teams. It was insane. Now you take August to September, and people are already like, oh, well, yeah. And rightfully so, because of how the team's playing right now. And so I'm praying that they can figure it out. There's areas where they need to figure it out on all sides. Starting pitching, giving up. I mean, we were talking about, the Miz is the next phenom, and this guy's unstoppable. Okay, he's giving up runs left and right. Okay, Woody. Well, you still want Woody to start on the mound. All right, well, he's given up 4 or 5. They need to figure out the starting pitching. You can't burn out the bullpen going into October. You can't do it, and you don't have that cushion to be able to rest guys. You're 2 games. You have a 2-game lead for that 1 seed over Philly right now. 2 games. That's nothing. That's a nothing burger. That's practically tied. Okay, so I'm not buying that. They got to figure that out. And then the bats. The bats, I understand they're putting, it's not like a ton of strikeouts. I understand a lot of it's luck, and the luck's not just going their way. But it has to. Luck's a part of it. Like, I'm not saying that it needs to be what it was during that 14-game winning streak. Well, that would be nice. But you got to find a way to get something better than what this is right now. If we're expecting this run from this team to actually be magical, I'm not even talking about a World Series win. Obviously, that's all I want, period. But you need to figure out a way to get close to what that was in August. You got to find that at least a little bit going into October. That's my thoughts on the Brewers.
Yeah. I think you said things that are very valid, and I think things that'll naturally sort themselves out. I agree. I think, obviously the way we were talking about the Brewers 3 months ago, 2 months ago, I think divorce the result aside, I think right now the Brewers are still playing baseball that translates to winning. I mean, give me a break. They swept 2 or 3, and it's the fact that this game felt so challenging. We still won the series, right? At the end of the day, this is what we need to do. I think the Phillies are on our heels. I'm really glad it wasn't the Phillies and the Dodgers. To be quite candid, do I want the Brewers to get the number 1 seed? Of course I do. But at the end of the day, who gets buys in the MLB playoffs? The top 2 seeds. And I think the Brewers are going to have that happen no matter what. And I think as much as I want everything to go through Milwaukee, I think they've been the best team in baseball. Whether the record proves it or not, I think they've played the best baseball, period, over this time. The injuries are a problem. I agree. Quintana, right, just found his way on a calf injury, with a calf injury. You talk about all of the guys, obviously McGill's been out. You talk about the fact that Mears was out. He finally made a return. There's a bunch of other guys who are all slated. Robert Gasser is supposed to be ready around this time. DL Hall should be coming back around this time. We lost Shelby Miller for this year and next. He wasn't even going to be on the team next year probably, but you get my point.
Right.
We are thin. Yoel Payamps is back on this roster. And he pitched out of a bases loaded. His stuff looked absolutely nasty at the top of the 9th when there were 2 outs and we had to have it. All of that is well and good, but what was making this team so nasty was their ability to get wins in a lot of different ways, and a lot of those different ways allowed for certain. It felt like games where maybe the pitching didn't have it, hitting was coming in clutch, right? in games where we're in a slump. Well, guess what? We're coming through and we're winning like 2-0. Honestly, we haven't really had a lot of low scoring games like that. Like the Brewers lead the MLB and putting up 4+ runs in like an inning. That's a stat I like to talk about, just given the fact that like this is not something the Brewers were doing, but that whole runners left in scoring position monster has come back a little bit, and I think the biggest thing that has been an issue, my thoughts about like why I'm not like overly concerned about it, is we just kind of lost the long ball again. It's like I felt like when we went on that 14 game win streak, right, like the first half of that we kind of were doing it without home runs, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. And then all of a sudden Andrew Vaughn came back, Bryce Trang had his incredible August. I still think Bryce Trang is playing, I got no notes for Bryce Trang. He is outproducing everything we ever thought he would be offensively, and he's shown that this is just who he is. So please sign him to a monster contract at the end of this year, and let's be done with it. I would love to see Bryce Trang play only as a Brewer. He is completely convinced. There were times where I went, maybe he's off it. I'm wrong. He's fantastic. Park him at second, and let's never think about it ever again for the next like 10 years. But I think like Andrew Vaughn, you get Rhys Hoskins back, you get Jake Bauers back. All of a sudden now there's a lot of power. There's a lot of power in that on the first base side. I think like when the playoffs come, Durbin needs to just be the everyday guy. It's getting too cute. And obviously Giller got called down, so maybe they are just going to ride with Durbin. I think we lost a couple games trying to play matchups. And I think like whether Murph wanted to admit it or not, they've been resting guys. So it's like we've ceded ground in the playoffs to try to make a stronger push in 2 weeks. And I trust that. I think Yelich, he's on a downswing right now, especially after like those couple days off because of like the back. He said he's not even thinking about it long-term. I think it's going to take a second for him to get back in the swing of things. But I think the equilibrium gets solved if Vaughn or Yelly are hitting at least one home run apiece over the course of a week-long stretch, even a couple, you know what I mean? I just think like
I agree with you besides the starting pitching. The starting pitching is the problem for me.
It's bad. I agree. I will say this though. We're talking about playoff pitching now. We're talking about it's Peralta, it's Woodruff, and it's Priester. And that's it. And then we can talk about short day rotations. I don't think Mizorowski is ready to start a game in the playoffs. At least, he had that incredible game. Maybe you do a thing where somebody opens for him. You have like they were doing for some guys last year. Maybe that's a situation. But the rotation is going to shrink, and I think there are enough guys. I think like the Quintana of it all, I wish he was pitching a little better than he's been. Mizorowski is a little bit of a wild card. But I think in the playoffs, you're going to know whether Jacob has it or he doesn't, right? Like it's really obvious. Like in the games he doesn't have it, he gets pieced up quickly. And in the playoffs, you just pull him. And you think like a lot of these guys that are on the IL that haven't been shut down for the year, they will be back for the playoffs. So, I don't want to, like I said, I want to see them get the first seed. If they end up in the second, at the end of the day, it gets us out of the first round. And that's something the Brewers haven't done since 2019. So I don't really care. They're not going to lose second place unless something catastrophic happens to the Dodgers. They're 6.5 games behind them.
Well, so the Cubs.
Well, I mean, I guess do you think the Cubs are going to overtake the Brewers in the Central?
Listen, the Cubs are 5.5 games back. Yeah. So I'm worried about them more than the Dodgers, who are 6.5, and they have the tiebreaker.
Sure.
So to where
I don't think either team is. I guess the magic number is 8. You're looking at the schedule for the Brewers. I just don't see a world where they don't. I think the Central is pretty right.
I hope not, but let me tell you this. What do they have left? 12 games?
Yep.
They have 12 games left to play.
Angels. Okay.
Yep.
Cards. Padres, Reds. So the Padres, Reds could be interesting, but I think you win I think they get enough wins. I'm just not worried about it. I guess and maybe I should knock on wood. I just think I think we're going to win the division. I don't think the Brewers are playing such suspect baseball that you have to be scared of the Central. Like the Cubs would have to do what the Brewers did to them in July and then also have the Brewers not win. You know what I mean? Like that's the level, like they're running out of time. This isn't like it's the start of August. We're only 5 games up. Like we put in the work to be in control of our destiny. And I don't think the Brewers are playing in a way that makes that challenging. The pitching is looking bad, and it's still 3-0. Like, these are winnable games. Like, we as Brewers fans are spoiled when our starting pitchers give up more than 2 runs. We are like, well, this is a terrible start. It's like, you know how many league teams all over this league have starting pitchers who routinely give up 3 runs, and they go, we have to score at least 4 or we won't win these games, right? Like, that's just the situation we find themselves in. We find ourselves in a way better situation. And, Freddie was due for a clunker, and that was a shame to see against the Rangers, especially because I was really hoping that we weren't going to get swept. But, at the end of the day, like, the Brewers came back, won 8-2, found magic, and then we lost 3-2 today. It happens, so I hear you. I really, really do. And I get that, like, September is the time to start going, I really wish they were playing how they were in August right now, or in July right now. But what I think is that they are playing consistent and strong enough baseball to not have me freak out and know that we can turn it back up when we need to. I think there's enough levers to be pulled. I think Murph will be a lot tighter with, like, not leaving guys to hang out there. But listen, hey, it's baseball. Anything can happen. You talk about it being a sport where you lose 62 games in a season, and that's considered an elite season. Like, that is so insane. And it's like,
baseball is insane, man.
Baseball is insane. So
I just, so over fixating on this, the way that I'm looking at this, and if you are like me as a Brewers fan, the way that you are fanning is you're not even worrying about the Cubs at this point, what they're doing. Obviously, if they lose and the Brewers lose, it's still, you're holding steady. But I'm not looking at that because I don't want to limp in as well. So I'm looking at it like, all right, you're playing, the worst in the West Angels for 3 games at home. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that right off the bat, because even if the Cubs win their series, against the Pirates, it doesn't matter. Like you said, it's about they're running out of time. So now it's not necessarily like you got to pay attention to them too. Just take care of business at home, and then you're all right. You're going to have the Cardinals, who I understand, you lost the game to today, but you're going to have them in St. Louis for 3, and then you're going to have the Padres, who are still fighting, and then you're going to have the Reds. So besides the Padres, really, there's no team that has a chance that they're fighting for anything besides their pride. Do not get lazy on this. Shut this down. Don't worry about what the Cubs are doing. Force them to have to just watch the division go away. And to me, it all starts with the series against the Angels. This is a huge opportunity to just put it all away. If you're sitting here and that number goes from 12 games down to 8 games or 9 games, and you're still at 5.5, now I'm feeling a lot better.
The magic number is 8 right now, I think, going off of Brewers magic number at the Twitter handle.
Oh, okay. That's even better.
Yeah. So I should, let me look at it again. Brewers magic number. But yeah, because we lost and they won, it didn't change from last night. But yeah, as it sits, as updated last night, 21 hours ago. Brewers go Ryan Blund, clutch to get NL Central's 8, 1 seed is 11, MLB 1 seed is 11, postseason by 6, postseason check. So if we win 6 more games, we will land a postseason bye. I think because the way the math works out, we will have just won. So it's better than you think, and it's also not as good as it feels. I get the point. We got, like, the Phillies
take care of business in this series.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a very beatable Los Angeles team, right? What's their record right now? Their record
69 and something. I mean,
81. They're 5th in the AL West. So they're in last place. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about, like, things to make you look for. Our starting rotation, our pitchers going into that game are Freddie Peralta, Brandon Woodruff, Quentin Priester. That's our playoff rotation right there. So let's go see Freddie return to form. Let's see Woodruff.
And if you're going to those games, get loud. Like, let them know. Like, now's the time. This isn't enjoy the weather in a ball game season of baseball anymore. This is, you're strapped in. You're there for first pitch. You're screaming loud. You're ready for playoff baseball. Like, this is what we wait for. This is what we wanted since April. Like, get there and let them know.
Yeah.
This team feeds off.
Buy the merch.
Buy all the gear. when it comes out. Right. I had some people already saying to me, like, you're going to get, I was like,
I know, I saw a tweet. Out. Yeah. Is the shirt out yet? Do we have a shirt?
The October.
Did they have a playoff? They do have a.
Yeah.
That's a tough shirt. That's a tough shirt to buy. Just knowing that it's going to like outdate itself in like a week.
Yeah.
I think the first buy all the gear shirt is when you win your division.
Right.
If you can win your division, you buy that gear. If you lose your division, then get the October shirt. But right now we got our site a little higher, I would say.
Yeah.
I did say I finally received tracking. And I know this is an important part as we hit the hour mark. So yes, you will have to bear with me. Obviously, we're in John Taylor, Micah Parsons jersey watch. Should be getting to my house, I think, next week.
To Wisconsin. Weird.
Weird. I would have had an easier time getting somebody to. I had friends at Lambeau. It would have been easier for me to have them buy it at the pro shop and then ship it to me because they're making it. It's supposed to be here. In 3 days. Let's go. The next time you see me on this, I will be wearing a Micah Parsons. But I buy all the gear. Is jerseys of guys I'm very excited about.
Yes.
Because if I can tie it back to the Brewers, Kyle Gassenuber, if you're listening to this is your favorite story. Only one guy everyone knows bought a Jeff Suppan authentic Brewers jersey.
Yes, you did.
I was so excited. And
remember you wearing that?
Yeah,
he got shelled.
And he was just not great. I thought it was the perfect signing. My 15-year-old brain was like, the Brewers need a guy. This is the guy. It never occurred to me. It's like, people let bad pitchers leave for a reason.
It could be that he's going to suck now.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Not the case right now.
Yeah, our Eric Fetty has been killing it. All the best Cardinals pitchers. Yeah.
Wisconsin sports are exciting right now. I don't know how people cannot be just in love with what's happening right now in Wisconsin sports. But it's an exciting time to watch, but it's also a little nerve-wracking. This is it. This is what you wait for. This is the butterflies. This is it when everything counts just a little bit more. So very excited for next week's episode. We're going to have a ton more answers. Hopefully we're sitting here 3-0 for the Green Bay Packers. Hopefully I'm feeling a lot better about where the Brewers are in regards to the division and just the overall standings for their seeding. And hopefully we have other things to celebrate too, such as Giannis medaling, because we got to bring that up too, because we love Giannis. And congratulations. He said he wanted to do it. It was a big deal to him. He
said it was the greatest achievement of his life.
Yep.
Which really hurts my feelings, but I guess 100%. I understand. I understand.
The man loves his country, and I love him. So whatever you want, I don't care. As long as you're still wearing a Bucks uniform in the NBA. A lot of good things, and hopefully a lot more to celebrate next time on Don't Tell Me How to Fan. Thanks, bud. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone watching and listening, and tune in next time because we are not done yet.